everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Doctor Who Spyfall Part 2 with Geeks Assembled, and
Right.
Susan and the 14th Doctor are here, and just came back from Gallifrey, and it looks like crap. So what's your thoughts on this after the big reveal? What are your thoughts about this? So opening thoughts, Susan, go.
Specifically about the Gallifrey reveal?
No, about the whole episode.
Oh, the whole episode. Well, I'm going to take the whole episode, meaning the part 1 and part 2, because that really was.
All right, cool.
Together. All right.
Okay.
Together, overall, it was a lot of fun. I mean, seeing the second half of it made the first half of it make more sense, and it brought it all together. So, I have to say I did enjoy it a lot. Is it the perfect episode and I have absolutely no qualms with anything that happened? No, but I did have fun. so that was fun. I thought it was really well written overall, and even though there were so many, there's a fine line between drawing on things that happened in the past and using them again, and losing and a lack of inventiveness towards the future. And I'm not quite sure they're straddling that line a little precariously. But I did enjoy it. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Okay.
Who doesn't want to see cool stuff that happened in the past that we like? So,
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. I'm glad you liked the whole thing, because you weren't convinced by the first part of this. And
it's
like
fabulous.
5, like you gave it a 5, right?
I gave the first part by itself a 5.
Okay. So yeah, we'll wait to rate it till the end of this podcast. But okay, so Mikey, opening thoughts on the first episode, second part.
So, okay. Is it okay if I put both thoughts for the first episode and the second episode?
Yeah, just do all your thinking. I mean, go for it.
So, okay. When the show came back into a good thing, I didn't expect a good opener. Again, this first part two, this two-parter, or what I could say, I didn't expect this. When I heard about the Master coming back again, like I said in the first of this New Year podcast, I said I didn't expect anything of the Master to come back, and yeah, but the second part was very, very interesting. It had some historical events had happened. It had like someone from the 1800s, I think, and in the 1914s, no, 1940s, 40s. Sorry, I'm trying to remember from the episode's memory. Please forgive me. I did watch the episode itself, but the Master and all, and the challenge of the second part, the Master was brilliant. Very yeah, the Master itself, it was very so how do I say it? Energetic, very dark toning and full of power. But when I heard about Gallifrey being destroyed, like, what? What? Why did they bring this arc again? I thought that's supposed to be done and also back with Stephen Moffat and Rosie Davis. I've been seeing the meme floating around in Doctor Who community about the Gallifrey story plotline be rewritten yet again, and I can't believe they destroyed Gallifrey again. What was the Master's purpose? So I guess until later on in the series or so, we may find out what was the reason and all. And also, I am still more concerned with the companions at this point. They're still like really not trustworthy of the Doctor that much. They want to know who is the Doctor really. I hope the Doctor will reveal some stuff and spice up things up to let them know that she is something that is to the universe itself. Believe me, the Doctor did mention a lot of things that he or she didn't want to
Yeah.
or to protect people or what, because get the point, etc., execution. You know, both parters are very good. I love them both. And I'm sad. I'm still sad that I didn't partake in the event for the movies. The tickets were sold out.
But
Yes.
you got to see it though, so that's brilliant. Okay, so Alex, what's your opening thoughts on?
Yeah, I mean, I do like it, but some things disappoint me. Like, I kind of wish they'd used another Time Lord. I also, it is sort of a complaint against Doctor Who in a way that they keep bringing back all the villains we've already seen, like 20 times. I understand that they did a sort of a tribute to Terrence Dicks in the credits, and that's nice. But it was also a different era. Not that I don't love it. I wish he hadn't died. I wish he had written for the new era. But it was partially the old era of 4-part stories, almost 30 minutes each, which you can't do that now because it's the internet and they wouldn't be able to sell them and it would take too long. I do know that at the end of the series or season, as we call it, there'll be another 2-parter. I wonder if they're sort of trying to do that as, trying to counter with the complaints of too many companions or not feeling like Doctor Who, but at the same point, you have to have new villains because if it's just revisiting, that's great for style and nostalgia, but it won't bring in new viewers necessarily.
Exactly.
But I mean, it was fun. I mean, it was a fun, spy type of romp, and it has a little bit of the Austin Powers slightly, and a little bit of the Kingsman, a little bit of James Bond or Jane Bond, if you want to call it that, and that's fine.
The Bond. We call
Yeah.
it. We call it. Right.
Yeah, but yeah, I kind of wish they had changed up a few things. As far as the historical figures go, that's good. But hopefully people do read magazines or the internet or books and realize that just because for 60 years or more, or 160 years, they said that it was only white men, that can't be accurate because it's a big world with a lot of different countries and cultures and stuff. So if you really read history and if you read more than one book, you'll realize that all the historical figures had their own perspective. The people that are writing the book that you're reading have their own perspective and bias. And you have to read more than one book to know history. You just can't read one book and that's it.
What did you think of the aliens?
Yeah, the aliens were kind of lackluster, I thought.
Okay, throw that question. Around.
Yeah, what did you guys think about that? That the aliens were kind of lackluster, I thought.
The aliens from the 2-parter.
Go, Mikey.
Yeah. So okay, I think if I remember the light things. I don't know. I'm gonna call them the light shadows or whatever. Light shadows. I'm gonna call them that from now on. It's a nickname, light shadows. Always remember that I'm gonna always call that. So, anyways, for my thoughts, very interesting. I do say it does bring a concern that we don't know what really these things are. Again, from the first podcast, we don't know what they are, alien race they are, which planet they are from. But they were ordered from the master, of course. That was just like unexpectedly, the master paid them to do something. And after all, he did use them against, like, for the Doctor and stuff. But then things had turned for the worse. The master got attacked by them, and he got sucked into that pit. That pit. Yeah. So we know that they shape like lighty, bleebies, aliens that can transport people into their own little realm that we don't know.
Yeah. So, Susan, what do you think of the aliens?
Well, the aliens in the first episode were actually kind of interesting because you had that cool scene where they were talking to each other, and as I said before, it reminded me of the Great Intelligence. Apparently I was wrong, but it did remind me of that. However, in the second episode, you got no communication from the aliens to anybody else. They didn't have that spooky conversation. All there was the doctor talking at them and them not responding. And the same thing, they just sort of showed up, but they didn't really, there was no interaction to give you more information, or they were more of a plot device. And I was really curious about them in the first episode, but the second episode, I think they dropped the ball with the alien race because it didn't continue in the same vein. You didn't hear that. It was an Ian McKellen-esque voice, basically, talking back and forth. And I missed that about the aliens. They just seemed to be okay, it's now time for them tech. Let's show like these white lights in the form of aliens. And okay, they're gone now. Poof. I would like to see more.
Yeah, so they're called the Kasavan or Kasarvan,
Yeah.
just depending on which subtitles you read. Either the British one with add an R, because British people put R's in things.
Yeah.
And Kasavan is what it was on the the U.S. subtitles. I was so interested that this group of aliens were able to pull people into a parallel dimension or a parallel universe, or another universe anyway. Thought that was really cool. I liked it that they had been manipulated by the master, and that when they surrounded the companions, that they were able to be dealt with on a certain level by the removal of the device, and the device that was like this dancing.
Right. That was really rather confusing. It was just too many disjunctive things. It was the whole significance of this lady sculpture was kind of, I was like, really, did we need that in the plot? It's just kind of a little too much. But I look forward. I'm not sure these aliens are necessarily evil. Their true intentions weren't exactly.
They said that they were gonna finish off this universe, that they were going to invade and take over this universe.
Okay.
So I thought I saw that kind of in the same parallel dimension as the Flatliner aliens.
Uh-huh.
Okay. The 2D aliens, right, coming in, and yeah. So
I don't really know that much about them.
And I also don't know what was the child called, the eternal child,
timeless child.
Timeless child. Thank you. I keep saying eternal child. I guess that's just me, but no, the timeless child. I don't know what the heck that is. I don't know what the heck.
I think they've set it up much like they used to do in Moffat's reign with, okay, now this is the big thing of the season, and every episode we're going to give you a little update on that until we get to the final episode where we put it all together.
That's an idea. Yeah.
But it does work for a season.
Yeah, it does. So fun, and I mean, Supernatural uses the same thing, and I guess some of the superhero things use that same format.
Mm-hmm.
But it works. I mean, this isn't Love Boat. I mean, you don't have to have 58 different stories in a series, but would be nice if we had more episodes than 10. But if they're gonna be 2 hour or an hour long or an hour and a half long, that's pretty good. An hour long though, I mean, that's like a two-part, in the classic era. I don't know. So my opinion on the first episode is that it was beautifully made. Lots of the second part was intriguing with the you know TARDIS racing basically in the vortex. That was pretty cool, and I liked the fact that the Master's TARDIS was kind of like Dorothy's traveling
Yeah, that was great. It was a
traveling
great.
farmhouse. That's fun, and the fact that the farmhouse looked really amazing and looked rustic.
Mhm.
It could plop down right in the center of Montana, and nobody be the wiser. I mean, yeah, I wish they'd stayed in Australia though and fixed the fire situation.
Would have been nice.
Yeah, but the Master maybe caused all that.
The Master just stole the episode for me.
I'm sorry, I brought in real world stuff. I didn't mean to, but it sometimes slips in.
That's fine. Doctor Who brings in real world stuff, so
I know.
there it is. The Master stole the show for me. This actor who plays the Master, he's just fabulous. He really is. He's
Really?
amazing. He's truly wonderful as the
What'd you
Master.
think of Sasha?
Yeah, it was a good performance. Like I said, I like it, but it just seemed like it needed maybe a little bit more tweaking, and it seemed like it was sort of too many ideas thrown in there. But like I said, no, I mean, again, I wish they had named it another person. I'm getting tired of the Master showing up every
I
5
can feel you.
stars.
Yes,
Yeah.
you said that. The Ronnie, but the Ronnie can't be used due to copyright.
Well, no, yeah, I mean, but come up with somebody else.
I agree.
Agreed. Can anyone hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry if I was speaking for a minute.
It's okay. The question is, what did you think of the Master?
The Master, again, perfect.
Sasha.
Picking the Master. Of course, brilliant. And very brilliant. Very brilliant.
My favorite scene of him is he has no lines. He walks in. He's in the Nazi uniform, and he walks into the code breakers at the other end, and he doesn't say a word to her. He just walks in this incredibly powerful walk, looks around, walks out, signals to them to shoot the floor, and then that's it. And it was just the way he walked in. There was such a power and a focus that it was a moment of acting that I missed. This is the type of thing that I want to see in Jodie's Doctor. I want to see, it's not about being a god. It's not about anything. This centering of just inner strength. And the Master and this Doctor are not, my God. If we went by acting, this Master would squash the Doctor in 2 seconds. So the writing is awesome, and it happens, but I just wish Jodie had more of that inner strength to be able to take a scene with no language like that. Even when he was making her kneel and she's looking at him, I'm like, God, give it just a little more inner oomph, just anyway.
More power, more power and energy that the Doctor can't.
It's an internal thing. It's kind of hard to describe. It has to come from the actress, and it's an internal. She may just not have that in her particular arsenal of weapons that for an actress to use, which is why I've always thought she was miscast. But she obviously is doing all the language. She's doing the best she can. I missed that center focus, that moment, and just a demonstration of what I'm missing is the scene with no language when the Master walks in, the power that he has. And the power, I want to see that the Doctor have that kind of power too. And we did in the past, but not right now. And it's not
Okay, I kind of don't know, because there's all that stuff with the first Doctor that was, kind of, unempowered, and I mean, Hartnell really didn't have that that kind of centered power. He was he was sort of an old soldier style, and that's all I can ever see him as is somewhat of an old soldier.
Oh, what about the famous speech that he gave, the last one? Remember that famous speech at the end, the last speech that Hartnell gave?
Yeah. I mean, I think that
Had that internal centering for that.
Yeah.
He had it in him.
Well, again, I think that they're trying to play against type here. I think that they know because of the internet and Facebook and all that they were getting a little bit of a backlash about the speechifying or having a very loud speech.
But this isn't about speeching. This isn't
Well,
about
but what I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying is the first doctor, even the second doctor would wait until the very last minute and then finally say, I know what you're doing, you're going to fail and stuff like that. The fifth doctor,
Troughton had a lot of power.
Right, but remember, he had to do that back then because it was only the second. It was only the second.
Didn't have that kind of centered power.
No, he got mad. He got mad when the Daleks said conquer the Earth, and he would go, "Conquer the Earth, you foolish," So you can give a speech, but I think they're just trying to avoid it so that they don't say, "Oh, this is just the same." Because even on Facebook, I'm reading, unfortunately, that they're saying, "Oh, she's either terrible or too much like David Tennant," and stuff like that, which is silly. But they have to play against type, and they've done that with most of the doctors. Is that the one that came before is now different to the one you're watching now?
Exactly.
Technically.
Okay.
Yeah, it's regeneration.
Go ahead, Mikey.
It's like regeneration. Again, the show changes and everything changes as well. It's the whole process of the show.
Okay, I'd like to know what your favorite moment was, Mikey.
There's too many moments. I could say, I don't know. There's just so many. I can just say the whole episode is my favorite. There was too many moments.
Do you have any other favorites, Susan?
Oh yeah. Well, my favorite moment in the whole show was that powerful scene where there was no dialogue. I liked that. That was amazing. But it was interesting. Well, part of my complaints about this is that the episodes move too fast from place to place and there's not enough time to create relationships. However, I did enjoy the character of Ada. I enjoyed that they went back to her. I enjoyed that, and I thought, wow, she would have made a great doctor. And I loved the character in the 40s too, and so I was glad that they were able to bring that in because early Who, the point was to teach historical stuff. That was one of the objectives of the show was to teach some accurate history, and so in this episode you got that. I didn't know anything about either of these ladies, so it was really kind of cool. And eventually I'll go Google them and figure out more about who they were.
About history, yeah.
So that was really cool. And I loved I just loved the whole Victorian thing where they had it was almost like a fair of weaponry.
A steampunk fair. Almost a steampunk fair, like
pretty much steampunk fair, right? With weapons.
Yeah. It looked like a steampunk fair.
And I thought that was really cool. I thought overall, I had fun in this episode. I will admit, I think it was written very well. I think these episodes are always executed technically as far as the scenery, the costumes, all that stuff. BBC's got this down. It is fabulous. There's no question. And I really did enjoy it overall completely. One of the only down part for me was the current companions. They were like the Three Stooges, and I think they were meant to be comedy relief. And it was funny, with the shoe thing. I kept wondering when we kept turning around why he wasn't hitting Yaz when he turned or the other guys.
Okay, that's a favorite. Now I remember.
you know, in this whole series, my favorite companion was Grace, and she got killed in the first episode. I'm like,
That was too damn short. Too damn short. Remember, Grace was short-lived. Short-lived Grace.
I know,
She
but
was
she
in-
was the best. She was the best, and but I just they just kind of had them there on the burners per se, and I need a little more. I need less characters and more character development.
Yep.
Exactly.
Okay.
More
So,
development.
so I just would like to sort of bring it back to think about these companions like the Fifth Doctor companions. Sometimes Tegan didn't do much. Sometimes Nyssa didn't do much. Sometimes Tegan, Nyssa, and Turlo, or Tegan, Nyssa, and Adric, they didn't do much. I just, there was always some sort of issue that they would that one of them would have to address. But most of the, when you populate the TARDIS with like a family, like this is mom and her kids, and and that's kind of, sometimes you have to put them in the back seat and like drive the car. But anyway, so that's just my theory on the subject. I also enjoyed the shoe thing, and I liked Ada and her attitude a lot, and so those are my favorite moments. Are we ready to? Yeah, go for it.
I have other favorite moments.
I'm going to open the floor to talk about anything now.
So favorite moments
Yes.
that it really, I was like, cool. Even though I knew exactly where it came from. The whole talking back to the video thing. I mean, we know where that came from back in the Tenet episode, but that was still brilliant, and that was brilliant. The I liked, the beat of the hearts on the Morse code thing. I mean, yes, they took that from a Chibnall episode, not Chibnall, from the past
No.
episode. But
Sounds like
that is a recognizable Time Lord code. It's their heartbeat. So if you're going to try to get somebody's attention, that's what you would use. But it was, and the moment when she makes contact with them and she says, "You're not the only one that can do classics." I mean, that was good. I mean, these kind of odds were all very good and fun. Really funny. I think it was well written. I liked it overall.
Exactly.
Yep.
But I just want to think about this. But really, I was surprised when they did the floor like Nox and bring me back to end of time when Tenet had the base regeneration. And whenever like this happened, I'm like, end of time. I'm getting Tenet vibes. I'm getting Tenet vibes.
Yeah. So, Alex, do you have anything more to add?
I mean, yeah, like I said, I would have written it a little bit differently, but here's the other issue. If the Indian woman that's the companion, I forgot her name right now, if she's supposed to be a police officer, she's gonna lose her her standing. Plus, didn't she work for MI6 too? So that was the other thing that I kind of got a little bit annoyed with. That I think that a police officer would be a little bit more with it and help her out.
I thought so too. She would be a little more on top of the whole thing.
Right. So
for MI6, not yet.
Yeah. So I kind of got a little disappointed in a way because it was kind of like, okay, in a way we've written off all the fam or whatever you want to call it, even though it was cute about the shoe laser, but. And it's ironic that it happens a couple of weeks before the guy that helped write Get Smart died. But it should have been a little better orchestrated. I did like the sort of the joke about your cell phones, your bank accounts, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I did right, and I did like Lenny Henry as well. I mean, I did enjoy that speech about you've given it all to us and all that.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
The other,
in-
yeah. I mean, the other thing that was a little bit weird. I'm not sure if they really, because at least with the Tennant episodes or the other episodes, it did seem to sort of have more of a goal or more of a defining moment as to what the evil or whatever is supposed to do. Here, it didn't seem like it. It seemed like it just kind of froze
But, yeah, the
and
whole
then went
thing-
backwards. And I don't think that the doctor really described that well enough for for real satisfaction.
that speech that Lenny Henry, was he the
Yeah, he
good-
was the bad guy. Yeah.
that speech and the whole thing about the aliens coming in and stuff, that was the one past ripoff thing that really annoyed me.
See, that's what I mean. I liked it, but I liked it because he really didn't have a lot of lines, and then they got rid of Stephen Fry so quick.
Right. So but
when he
it was a ripoff thing, of course, from the old Cybermen episode, when the Cybermen were taking over.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
the next dimension, and you had, the person talking and taking over. It was a little too. It was too much, too borrowed from.
Yeah, it was a little long, but I liked it. I mean, so if I could have had anything to do with writing it, I would have said, okay, we got a lot of good style here and a lot of good pace here, but it didn't make sense that they kind of put the fam in sort of the super comic relief type of thing, and I didn't think that was fair, really.
No, I agree.
The other thing that Lenny wait, let me interject. The other thing that Lenny Henry speech brought back was Sarah Jane Adventures. They're all sitting in there and they get their new computer, and their new computer is able to control their minds. I mean, that was really amazing.
It
You
was,
know,
it
they what
it was a presentation of too many plot points, and that was the crux of what was happening, and it was taken obviously from the old Torchwood episode, the whole 9 yards. And if this guy's going to come in and make Who be new, yeah, borrow fun things like, hey, I can do classic too, borrow that stuff, but don't borrow your main plot points. Find something new about the plot points.
Well, this one wasn't really a plot point, but it was.
It was the whole crux of what the aliens were doing.
Okay.
Right. So I just thought that was my only thing. Like I said at the beginning, and I guess in ending what I said in the beginning, there's a fine line between borrowing from the past and repeating the past. And in this show, it's traveling it very not so delicately and a little too much on the side of airing. But even with that said, it was a lot of fun.
Okay, Mikey, do you have anything more to say?
Wait, what do you want me to say? Because I'm legit keeping myself good and consume myself. What do you want me to say?
Anything? Well, okay, we'll just move on to our final say and our score, which is how we usually end these podcasts. So I will start with you, Mikey. I will start with you and give your final say and your score, please.
Okay, again, I'm a Whovian. I love the show, so I give it 10 out of 10. You know what? I'll give it 13 out of 13 because Cody's back. Of course, get the fun. I love the episode itself. Everything itself was so amazing. I was very happy when Doctor Who returned. Again, I have been waiting for new content for a while. Yes, 13 is 13.
All right, cool. And Alex, what's your final say and your score?
Yeah, like I said, I hope that they go back to 12 or they do 10 and a special or whatever. And also, I hope they don't go to 2 or 3 years, gap in between episodes. There was a lot of good style here, a lot of good theories, a lot of good. They had a lot of good concepts and stuff, but it just seemed. I don't know if they were trying to rush it to be fast. I don't know why they did that with the fam or companions, as I like to call them. I'm not quite sure what they were doing there. And they need new villains. I don't want to just see all old villains. But like I said, I have a feeling they're playing against type. I have a feeling that they want, I think they want something a little bit more moderate, a little bit more modern, not as they. I don't think they want a rerun of Doctor Who of all the other Doctors up to 8, but I think they were trying to do a little bit of a tribute, and they did, and that's great. But and it's not that the Master was bad. I understand that, and of course, you had the criticism, of course, from Facebook and the internet, but it's just sort of. I just wish they had written it slightly different, and I wish he hadn't been so cackling. I did enjoy when the doctor sort of turned the tables on him and said, your filter's gone. Now let's see how they really treat you, because if he was wearing a German, skin, so to speak, that only all the other people saw except the doctor, that's not fair either. So, and I mean, yeah, I understand the Master and the Daleks and the Cybermen have a sort of a master race outlook, but yeah, I mean, then they should play fair and really bump into the Nazis and see how they really act, because they don't like anything that's different either, and that's the other problem with that philosophy. Nobody's the master race, and you can't just say, I don't like something because it's different, and that applies to people. That might apply to food or some other thing, but not actual life. So so that part I liked. So there was a lot of good things that I did enjoy. I'm gonna have to give it an 8.5. The whole episode, the whole story, I'm giving it a 9, but reservedly, because I kind of wish they had written the companions better, the family better, and I didn't think that they explained a lot. I understand they didn't want to do it exactly like Terrence Dicks, where everything would have been explained, but I would have felt better with the payoff. And I wish they had chosen another villain. I wish they could have had the Master and then have the new villain sort of say to the Master, "Okay, you're in a box or closet for a little while, and I'm taking over." And I don't. Again, it was sort of like the Doomsday Tennant episode where it's like, okay, it really is the Cybermen, but they're playing with you, which that's fine.
Yeah.
But again, I remember that we may or may not be their main audience as well, and hopefully the ratings get better too, because it wasn't a lot for the ratings as well.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
shocked me.
It was actually the highest rated show of BBC over the past 2 weeks.
Oh, good.
The dancing show did more.
It did more,
Hey,
but only at the immediate over the air watching, Alex.
Okay, and then,
So this is the one that I'm taking into consideration is the one that actually takes all the metrics from all the different things. You never watch a Dancing with the Stars on playback 2 or 3 times. I mean, you just fucking don't do that. You do watch Doctor Who 1 or 2 times over and over on the iPlayer after you watch it over the air, if you've ever watched it over the air.
Absolutely.
I mean, some people work.
Exactly. I agree.
So
Yeah.
we're also busy with stuff. I know I'm been away from the Doctor Who community yet again. I've been into new fandoms for a bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've been
So,
juicing myself.
Susan, I'd like to throw it over to Susan for her final say and score. And I can't wait to find out what coming from a 5, what this one is going to be.
Well, overall, with the whole, I like doing this whole thing, with the whole episode together, I would reservedly say, about an 8, 8.5, only because of the main characters, the Doctor and the companions. The episode was brilliant in so many ways. The casting, except for the Doctor and the companions, was fabulous. And they made the companions look like the Three Stooges. And I think Alex had a really good point. This Jazz is supposed to be a policeman. And in this episode, she was more like, a damsel in distress. And I was like, you guys are supposed to be more confident in this. So that was my downplay of the episode, was I need more character development and less characters themselves. But overall, it was a really, really good time, and I enjoyed watching it. I watched both parts multiple times, probably 3 or 4 times. So, if I really hated it, I wouldn't. But I watched them to keep refreshing it so that I would be good for this talk. But I'd say about an 8.5.
Okay. And I will get right in the middle of all y'all. I'm gonna give it 9.5. I thought it was great. I'm really impressed with Jodie's work ethic and how she's and her poise and her sweetness. I mean, I don't know. I'm not looking to the doctor this time to necessarily be super powered or whatever, like have that inner strength. I'm just looking to her to be sort of a traveler, and I just posit that, drop that in the middle of this conversation, because her traveling is what we're really, we're looking to her for adventures, and that's basically that in science fiction or fantasy are really why I watch the show. And I watch it like I do, like I read books. I'm reading the Anne Rice books right now, and the Terry Pratchett books, and those are just adventures. I don't read those. Those are adventures in science fiction and fantasy, and I don't read those for, I let the characters kind of do what they want. I can't look forward to talking with you guys in a couple days, in like 4 days, 5 days, next Monday, about the next episode. And I'm really grateful that you guys have rejoined us and are enjoying doing these podcasts. I'm having a hoot, and thanks, Alex, for rushing back and being with us today. What would you guys like to say? Anything to sign off?
Well, who next Monday at 2, right? Got it.
Yeah.
Signing off. I'm going to look forward to talking about the season with everybody. I look forward to Alec getting back. I hope his mom gets better. I really do.
Me too. Sending prayers to his mom.
Yeah, and if she doesn't, I hope that it's very peaceful for everyone.
Sure.
And anyway, but no, I'm enjoying it too. So that's it. And don't get me wrong. I like most of what this doctor does. It's just those moments that I miss, and that kind of does it for me. But but the last thing, the whole Gallifrey thing. Holy crap! It was just destroyed again. But I'm thinking, she could fix this by going back in time and stopping the Master from doing it.
But also Gallifrey, I mean, this might be the way that we get Ace back, and Leela back, and K9 back, and Susan back, and Romana back, because they're all there.
They're all in Gallifrey?
They're all on Gallifrey.
What?
Take the TARDIS and go back just before it happened and stop it.
Wait, all in Gallifrey?
So I mean, if the Master destroyed it, they could be hiding out, and they could be an army of his companions. We've had the Defenders of Earth with RTD, and Defenders of the Universe with Moffat and Clara and Bill and Amy and Rory, but now we could have and River, but now we could have Defenders of Gallifrey with Ace and Susan and Narvin and Praxitel And
you had a little bit with Leela, remember? Leela was a defender of Gallifrey.
and Leela and K9, all of those are back on Gallifrey because of the audio adventure known as All Hands on Deck, where all of the old Time Lords and people of influence were sucked back to Gallifrey to deal with the end of the Time War.
I would be definitely thrilled to see them all there being a resistance and figuring it out. That would be
okay. That's just there's my pipe dream, and I just want you guys to be smoking that pipe with me, because that's where yeah. Okay, so I'm leaving this on a really super powerful and positive note. See you guys in a week or in 5 days, okay?
Hey, we haven't talked about my thoughts or last final words. My final words.
Okay, go for it.
So, okay, for my final words, the message is the world. I can't wait to see all of you guys next week. I will be very excited to talk to all of you again. I need to get back into my Doctor Who spirit more often than usually. I've been stuck into one other fandom. I've been hypnotized to it a lot lately, and it's been very entertaining. Not gonna lie.
Sure, yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. You look pretty entertained there.
Yes, indeed.
right.
And in the meantime,
all right.
Everyone is gonna be eternal.
See you guys later.
Ciao, Bellas.
See you guys later.
Bye.
Toodles.
Bye.
Bye.